Welcome to the first quarter 2025 Safety Business Update and Review. In this video, I'll present our current CSA basic scores, our first quarter crashes, and recorded events of proper and some not so proper driving behaviors. Now, let's get into it. Our current unsafe basic is at 24%. This increased 6 points since last quarter. Our unsafe basic has been negatively affected by an increase in lane violations, which means there was a sign that indicated no trucks in the left lane or no trucks in the two left lanes, and our drivers were in those lanes. Pay attention to the signs and follow them. Come on, if the sign says no trucks left lane or left two lanes and someone in front of you is going slower than the speed limit, slow down and stay back and do not pass until you're allowed to do so. Be patient. We continue to have many drivers who fail to stop for way stations. Pay attention to the signs and remember, many scales do not have pre-pass. So if you don't get a signal from the pre-pass, enter the scale and follow the green and red signals. If you're used to passing a scale every day and it's never open, that doesn't mean it will always be closed. Paying attention to signs is your job. You cannot do your job properly if you fail to make decisions based on what the signs are telling you about the area that you're in. These are the states that had the highest unsafe violations: Indiana, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Michigan. But Indiana, what we're seeing is a higher number of lane violations and speeding in construction zones. Those have all moved up, and it's caused Indiana to be the #1 state where we're seeing violations. And I can tell you right now, Indiana will continue to write unsafe violations. That's how they do it. But you have to be smart. Follow the speed limit, follow the signs. Again, go back to what we just talked about. Watch the signs and follow them. Our hours of service compliance basic is at 35%. This percentage decreased by 7 points since the last quarter. We are seeing most of our hours of service compliance basic violations in the states of New York, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. And what we're seeing with those is drivers are being stopped for other things, and then they're being looked at for their logs. And that's where that hours of service violation's coming in.
So as a driver, you're required by FMCSA to review your logs for accuracy and validate that everything's correct through a certifying process. To certify your logs each day, you need to click on logs at the top of your screen and then click on the day of the log that you're looking to certify. And on the right-hand side, there's a button that says certify. And from there, you'll get a prompt that asks if you agree or if you're not ready to certify that all entries are correct and true. If you agree, obviously you hit that, and that will certify your log. If there's a discrepancy to your logs or something isn't correct, review that, contact safety compliance. If you give us a call, if you know that you need to make an edit or an entry that needs to be corrected, we can edit that, and then once you've edited that log and made it correct, then you go back through the certification process. So we have had drivers receive monetary fines and CSA violations on roadside inspections for not certifying their logs. The more violations we receive, right, the more likely we are to be pulled in for future inspections, which wastes time. Each log period is a 24-hour period from midnight to midnight, right? Our logs are in central time. Once that 24-hour period is over, you need to make sure that's certified, right? If you're in a sleeper berth over the midnight hour, right, which a lot of drivers are, you can certify that log once you begin or just before you begin your next shift. If you're operating over that midnight or that 24-hour period, if you're operating over midnight central, you'll need to certify after midnight and at your first stop to make sure that that whole 24-hour period has been certified and that you've been able to review that entire log. Your PC will tell you, you have uncertified logs, would you like to certify them? And a lot of drivers will select yes, but they won't actually certify their log. So just saying yes to that isn't certifying. You actually have to go through the process of hitting logs, go to that log, and then clicking the certify and agree button to actually certify that log. Just saying yes to that question doesn't certify anything. Your logs have to be certified in order, right? So if you miss a day and you try to certify the next day, it won't let you, right? You have to go back and certify each day in order. And you can see which logs are certified going to your log tab. If there's a green check mark on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see that log is certified, right? If there's no green check mark, log's not certified. You still have to click on those days in order and certify each day.
Our vehicle basic is at 51%. This decreased by 1 point. The vehicle maintenance basic improved a little, and violations related to tires and lights remain consistent. That's not good. 70% of our CSA points are controllable by you, the driver. 36% of drivers being stopped are stopped for unsafe basic violations, like not following a sign, speeding, etc., while 34% are for maintenance observable defects, like lights and tires. Plus, the officer usually does a more thorough inspection of the driver's equipment and finds more violations, which adds to our numbers. So we talk about doing a proper pre-trip, making sure that you trip plan, make sure your logs are correct. If an officer asks for your logs and your system still is not one of those that comes out of the vehicle, like one of the Rev 6s or 7s, then basically use your app. If they won't accept your app, then let us know that and we'll data queue that. But still, bottom line is, try to keep everything up to speed and make sure that you're doing a proper pre-trip. Some of our drivers have lost our team 1,498 hours of drive time for non-ISS violations. That means they were stopped for something other than an inspection at a weigh station. We're seeing most of our vehicle maintenance violations in the states of Wisconsin, Minnesota, Tennessee, California, and Indiana. Again, tires and lights, number 1 and number 2. Our driver fitness basic is at 33%. This percentage increased by 3 points. Our crash indicator basic is at 4%. This decreased by 2 points. The controlled substance basic is at 0. This percentage decreased by 1 point. And our hazardous material compliance basic remains a 0. In addition to our CSA basic scores, I want to bring to your attention a problem that ROEHL and other trucking companies have had in the Memphis area. There's a group of misfits in Memphis and even across into Mississippi where they have contracted through lot owners to put up no parking or pay to park signs. All these lots have cameras, so they know exactly who's there and when they're there. These individuals are ticketing vehicles, booting vehicles, sending citations to carriers that one of their trucks was parked or stopped at one of their locations. If the fine's not paid, they indicate that they may detain and hold a vehicle. And if the fine is still not paid, they have the right to sell that equipment. So if you're going through Memphis or leaving a customer and needing to get stopped around the Memphis or Mississippi area, only stop at our drop yard or a major national truck stop chain. To help our drivers, we've enabled alerts that appear on their driver text screen when the location they enter is a location that has parking signs that say no parking or you have to pay for parking. So always pay attention to posted signs and lots, and pay attention to the alerts from your driver text system. If If you mistakenly enter an area that we've identified safety risks or predatory towing, immediately exit the area and find a major national truck stop. If someone starts harassing you before you exit the lot and prevents you from leaving, call 911 and keep your doors locked. Those private security guards have badges and look a lot like law enforcement officers. Do not let them intimidate you and do not engage with them. If they harass you, call 911 and keep your doors locked. Now let's look at the accidents that happened in the first quarter of this year, which I'll compare to the first quarter of 2024. The number of DOT crashes for the first quarter of this year was at 19, the same number as the first quarter of 2024. DOT preventable accidents increased from 4 in 2024 to 7 in 2025. Critical crashes also increased from 2 in the first quarter of 2024 to 4 in the first quarter of 2025. The additional critical crashes were left to right lane changes. If you recall, in the entire year of 2024, we only had 3 left to right lane changes, and now we've already had 2 in 2025, both those in the first quarter. Both drivers who had left to right lane change accidents had trucks with systems that warned them of others to their right, and neither did a lean and look before they changed lanes. And if there's a visual and or audible sound in your vehicle, do not change lanes. Also make sure the volume of your radio is not covering up those warning sounds. Many systems in passenger vehicles will attempt to bring that vehicle back into the lane or force the steering wheel so that you can't change lanes. Your tractor will not do that. It'll give you a warning, and you must verify by checking your mirrors and doing a lean and look on whether it's safe to change lanes or not. If you aren't sure the area is clear, don't move into that lane. Frequency numbers aren't too far off from the first quarter in 2024. Backing into a parked vehicle and or fixed object remains our highest frequency. You should always be getting out and looking, and then assessing and assuring the area you'll be backing into or moving around and validating it's clear to do so. Once again, the excuse I hear most is, I knew it was there, but thought I would miss it. Get out and assess the area and then assure you don't hit anything. Next is forward left and hitting a parked vehicle or fixed object in a close quarter environment, and left turns. This is your driver's side of the vehicle. You can always glance right out the window and see your trailer's tracking. In most of the events that I watch, I seldom, if ever, see a driver look to see where their trailer is tracking. And once they hit a vehicle or an object, they stop abruptly. They seem confused. While I watched the event, I could see the way the driver maneuvered and had forgotten that they had a trailer connected or assumed the trailer was tracking just fine. Some of our most costly damages come from this type of crash. Check your mirrors. Look out the window at your trailer's tracking while still knowing your future, and validate that you can maneuver around the vehicle or object. If you can't, stop and make a better plan. The next highest frequency is the side swipe. Again, you need to lean and look before moving from lane to lane. You need to also watch as vehicles enter the highways or roadways and let them enter safely. I have no idea why drivers want to just run into others. This happens all the time. This is something we continue to talk about. But when you do it, you end up stopping for hours on the shoulder of the roadway and then end up dealing with police and talk on the phone to all the other people, such as safety and maintenance, your fleet manager, et cetera, et cetera. That's all you had to do was let them in. Come on. Let the others merge into your lane, and soon enough, you'll be able to get back up to highway speeds and get to your destination safely. Be polite, be patient, and be smart. Another situation to be prepared for is getting lost. Something that happens and doesn't make you any less of a good driver. If you're lost, find a safe place to stop and call into fleet management for support. Never keep driving around until you put yourself in a position where you end up getting stuck or you have a crash. Also, if you see a sign that indicates the road is closed ahead, I will always bet on the road ahead being closed. Wouldn't you? So find a safe place to stop, even if that's the side of the road. If you stop on the side of the road, activate your four-way flashers, get out of the truck on the passenger side, set out your triangles, get back in the truck and call fleet management for assistance or call law enforcement. Do not just drive around. Trip plan before you go. Most accidents where a driver got lost or put themselves in a precarious position, they did not take the time to trip plan. Finally, I want to congratulate our flatbed group for an improved first quarter performance. They had 1 DOT crash the entire quarter. That was compared to 6 DOT crashes in the first quarter of 2024. They had 0 preventable DOT crashes compared to 2 in the first quarter of 2024. They also had 0 critical crashes compared to 1 in the first quarter of 2024. Excellent improvement. Keep moving in that direction. Now, let's get into the recorded events from the first quarter of this year. Reduce the risk. Stay back there. Wait till traffic continues and then go on. You should never, ever get into a situation like this and make that decision. Everybody else is stopped up there without a problem. Now we're coming up and what do? We're going too fast. Fortunately, we did not just drive into the others and nobody was hurt in this, but still it was a situation that shouldn't have happened. You got to reduce the distractions and you need to know what's going on at all times. I mean, it's so important that you don't have things around you that could spill or fall and that you can maintain your eyes on the road and have your hands on the wheel, both hands on the wheel at all times. Here's another distracted event. Again, these situations are bad. You need to stay in control, know what's going on at all times. Make sure that you're not dropping things or having things spill, et cetera, et cetera. Here's a driver who's doing something else in the vehicle. If you miss a turn, don't panic. Continue down the road and find a safe and legal way to get turned around. Again, being distracted. These are multiple distracted videos here is a concern. You've got to stay focused. You need to know what's happening. Just be smart about being a truck driver. We made a turn too early when we were supposed to be staying to the right, and then next we backed up on a highway. So as a driver in this situation, You should stop, put out your emergency triangles, and then call law enforcement for support and help backing. It's so important to you as a driver going down the roadway to know where you're going and know what you need to do, what lane you need to be into, etc. The situation, again, we got lucky, and that car that was stopped at that stop sign, we're fortunate that they just didn't pull out thinking, well, the truck's in the right lane, he's going to turn right. We're fortunate because I can tell you, I've seen 100 times where those cars will pull right out, or someone will pull out saying, you were in that lane, and guess who's going to be at fault? You are. Somebody coming down our left would have been going straight, and we would have collided with them because we weren't looking there and we weren't paying attention. And we're fortunate that no one was on the sidewalk. Watch this video, and cars, pickup truck, all stopping, light, 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 red. You've got to pay attention and understand you've got to treat lights as stale green lights. You really do. And you have to start slowing. Everybody else, there should have been, again, more signs around you from the standpoint that you saw other vehicles slowing and stopping. What are we doing? We're in between them both, and we're just going forward. We're fortunate that we didn't have a collision with that other vehicle. You've got to pay attention. You've got to see lights. You've got to know what's happening down the road. Make sure you're getting proper rest. Make sure that you're taking the breaks when you need to. And even if you're not ready to go, call fleet operations. Let them know that, hey, I'm too tired. I can't make it right now. I'm going to have to take a little bit of a nap. Don't continue down the roadway. Again, you've got to get proper rest. Not a good situation. We're fortunate. We're lucky here. A bad situation that could have been really catastrophic.
What's the problem? We don't trust him.
The driver's likely thinking more about what he's listening to on the radio or thinking about that turn coming up and not paying attention to those vehicles that are approaching him.
Became active. Are the cops there cool with him now? He doesn't kill people anymore. And what about all the criminals that he put out?
You've got to pay attention. You have to know what's happening down the roadway. And once it's clear, then you make your left turn. We allowed him to come into our lane. He moved over, continued on, and so did we. The whole idea, again, not being involved in a crash. This driver did everything correctly. He slowed down, he stayed back, he saw something wasn't right. He saw there was a vehicle broke down in front of him onto the left, and he knew, hey, these other people are gonna have to try to get around me, so I might as well just let them go so they can get around safely and I can continue down the road safely. As you take a look at these videos, every one of these drivers did a great job. They allowed other motorists to merge in safely. That driver continued down the road without an issue.
now, what is happening at your local grocery store?
Again, expect that they're going to merge. And they did, and now he'll get his speed back up and continue on down the road. But he was not involved in a crash. Be patient and be courteous. It can be frustrating with everybody wanting to get in front of a truck. But I can tell you right now, most people, that's what they want to do. Get in front of the truck. They don't want to wait. And you already know that. Let them get up there and let them go on. We had the right of way, but still, having the right of way and running into them, it's preventable. It's going to go on you. That's a wrap on this year's first quarter safety business update and review. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more important topic I almost forgot to mention. On April 24th, we were presented with our 5th President's Trophy for Safety by the American Trucking Association. This is an award that can only be earned once every 4 years. And we're compared to our peers who are of similar size and who operate over 100 million miles and receive that recognition above them. Here's what I had to say at the event when we received the award. Our drivers, our trainers, my safety staff, the whole team, the whole company, the organization does an outstanding job. And really, number 5, this is wonderful for us, so thank you very much. Before this update ends, I want to remind you too that school is also ending for the year. So more children will be out playing and riding bikes. So remain vigilant and continue to drive the railway to protect them all. Construction will be in full go mode. So make sure to pay attention to signs. Slow down, stay back, and understand that other motorists will be slowing and stopping before or in the construction zones. This shouldn't be a surprise. Expect it and be ready to react to it. Also, do not speed in the construction zone. The zone's marked for the safe speed. So follow it and continue to safely move towards your destination. Enjoy a safe spring season. I'll be back with a second quarter safety business update and review early in the third quarter. Thanks for watching and for being on Team Rail.